Laganon Academy training is much tougher than you'd think. Even young students face harsh drills. They hold heavy weights, practicing breathing, trying to last. Most struggle. Few can keep going. One boy stands out. He holds more than others. He has huge boulders stacked on his weights. Even the instructor is amazed by his strength. They don't know this boy is the reborn, strongest man, founder of the Lagan family. He died when his time came, but it wasn't over. He opens his eyes to a new baby. Body, he's shocked to be a baby. Other babies were there. He realized he's reborn into the Lagan family, housed separately. Then, Ragan maids arrive with a trolley of strange red liquid. A goblin among them made the hero suspicious. Maids force feed the goblin the liquid. It explodes in pain. The magic concentration is perfect. The maids then feed the diluted red liquid to everyone. The hero didn't understand. Turn came. He saw it wasn't milk, but terrifying magic. This is ancient dragon's blood, and they're forced to drink it. He instinctively needs to spit it out, having swallowed some. Like other babies, he must spit it out to avoid exploding. He rethinks deciding to absorb the magic. It could help him reach martial arts peak, even surprising his past self. He drinks it all, thinking, they shouldn't underestimate Gilfus Lagan. He absorbs the dragon's power to reach martial arts peak, a height he never reached before. The maids are surprised he absorbs it calmly but ignore it. Other babies survive, but this is serious. As expected, sleepiness hit in years. Later, Gilfus is now Zeke Elragon. He trains hard, feeling his body's amazing change. This is thanks to the ancient dragon blood in him. This power exists in all, but the dragon blood Zeke and others drank has two distinct source powers. Even a little liquid makes bodies superior. Luckily for him, the hero, guided by divine dragons, absorbed every drop of the unique dragon power from his past life. He transforms so much, he can barely believe it. He should be at least 4 stars by now. A star is compressed power formed by imagining a star in one's body. More stars mean more power, but each is harder to form. The hero reached an unmatched 10 stars, the only one ever. 7 years passed since his rebirth. His mother died, and his father never appeared. Reborn thousands of years later, he's shocked. What bothers him more is this era's reality, a world where the strong prey on the weak. Like 2025, the Dragon's Trial ritual shows this best. Only surviving babies train as Lagan warriors. For years, no obstacles stop the hero. Zeke tries to learn about family combat training, but maids say nothing, as if forbidden. The maid he talks to is a 3-star fighter. Enough for basic training. He feels tired from this brief talk, even after 7 years together. Later, he trains by eating poisonous herbs in the forest. He senses someone, then sees an angry boar with black mist, unlike anything from 1,000 years ago. They fight, and he slams the boar with a strong punch. The damage surprising for his level. 1 star, but its quality matters most. The hero leaves with the boar, starting his journey. A strange man watches, realizing Zeke is special. Zeke easily beats the boar and senses the man, but as the family has child, Zeke can't leave freely and is always watched. The stranger becomes interested. Later, the hero hears warriors talking. He asks why they're there. Say they're taking Zeke for an exam, making the hero furious. He thought he was back with his family, but they took him to the dragon's nest for an exam. This is the Ragan family's special school. Built 1,000 years ago, every 7-year-old family member must join this academy today. Is the entrance exam, and the hero knows nothing. The hero holds his head, knowing the test is required. Zeke looks tired. Langus from Old Scale Village stops to talk to him. Zeke first sees Langus as shy, but soon finds courage under his nerves. Zeke introduces himself. The hero worries about exam's content, surprising Langus. Before they can talk, Retin from Old Scale Village bullies Langus. He yells that Langus should stay home as his father was just a mock dragon. The Ragan family has a strict hierarchy. Lesser dragons are rookies. Young dragons are soldiers. Adult dragons are captains. Elder dragons are elders or executives. Mock dragons are at the bottom, those who failed the nest or couldn't graduate. Langus wants to clear his family's name. The hero defends his friend, saying he deserves a chance. This angers the bullies who insult Langus, but Zeke keeps defending his new friend. The adult dragon examiner announces the exam. All applicants must register, get a number, and go to the second gate. Langus suggests the hero quit if unsure, but the hero seems confident despite not knowing the exam. The first test, scratch the rock. Those who do pass. Use only provided weapons or bare hands. Students get 3 tries. Zeke finds the test too easy, shocking his friend who expected a hard exam. The test starts. Langus panics, but our hero stays calm. The test stone heals minor damage almost instantly. Brute force attacks reflect back with hundreds of times the power. Langus explains you need to use ether power correctly to scratch it. The hero realizes it's about controlling ether power, not fighting skill. Most students, even the bullies, seem able to pass. Students are being disqualified one after another. Finally, it's the hero's turn. He refuses a weapon. They ask if he's sure. About bare hands, he agrees. Everyone talks thinking he'll fail. Langus worries about him. As the test began, the hero studied the stone. He realized it was ancient, a mineral he'd never seen. He raised his fist, using full power to smash the regeneration stone with his dragon Slayer technique, passing the exam. The crowd fell silent, surprised by the results. Langus felt pure joy and surprise. The examiner narrowed his eyes, wondering if the hero was from a powerful family. Only 4 or 5-star warriors could do such a thing. The hero received a green potion, unsure what it was for. Later, Langus explained it was a normal healing potion. Zeke wondered if it was an elixir made from rare materials. It contained rare herbs, elixir core, and parts from divine and phantom beasts. The potion healed old and new wounds, greatly boosting one's ether. Its rare ingredients made it hard to refine and almost impossible to buy. Langus added that House Dragon's potions were much better than store-bought ones. The hero felt amazed as his friend kept praising him. The bullies passed, and it was Langus's turn. He tried to scratch the rock with a sword but failed. It was his last try. The bullies mocked him, calling him a half-dragon. Zeke told him to use a spear instead of a sword as he couldn't dent it with the sword. Everyone laughed at his weakness. Hero saved him by suggesting spear. Long's father was banned from the dragon's nest. They called him a half-dragon, but he never gave up, raising him to prove everyone wrong. But he wasn't sure how to use the spear. Zeke told him to thrust it straight. It seemed impossible for a beginner to damage the stone, but he shouldn't judge himself without trying. They just met, but since the hero believed in Langus wanted to believe in himself too. Without delay, he thrust the spear into the stone. It felt natural. To their surprise, he not only scratched it, but pierced it through. Zeke was very impressed and cheered loudly. This is how he passed the exam, something he couldn't believe himself. Tears of happiness fell as the bullies grew tense. The test ended, and the entrance ceremony began. Zeke wondered if that was the only test. His friends said there might be another after entrance. The head of the Lagon family entered to congratulate them. Zeke noted the head's gloomy face, while Langus tried to quiet him. Zeke met the Ragon family's forces, including several 6-star members. The head Bala Eldra seemed 8-star level. 1,000 years ago, only a dozen people worldwide reached this star level. Zeke seemed to hate his own father. Lord Bowser spoke, suggesting become Elragon's flesh and blood. His powerful aura made it hard for students to breathe. Everyone felt his strong pressure. The hero realized he couldn't stand him. Then an old dragon praised the lords, words saying it was just wording. Everyone felt relieved as the mood changed. Soon a warrior announced dorm assignments. Those called should move at once. Zeke wondered if they'd go to different places. His friend explained there were 4 dorms in the Dragon's Nest. Students entering the building are assigned to one of 4 dorms, east, west, north, or south. Zeke got the east dorm in the Dragon's Nest. He wandered the dorm, found his room, and greeted his roommate. Lai was his new roommate, and they both seemed happy. Zeke had no plans. His friend said training starts tomorrow. His friend scolded him for missing the announcements. He planned to leave this boring place for a trip, but the regeneration stone, healing potion, and alert. Interesting things came up. Staying with Ragan House longer seemed fine. 1 month passed. A training session teaches Dragon's Breath. The 15th Lagan head created this method. Some students, like Lady Leica, mastered it, looking like a 2nd star. Zeke's amazing skills with no training made the trainer wonder if he had the head's powers. The hero's Dragon King's breath was changed to Dragon's Breath. These techniques draw ether from the air to boost one's own ether user. Skills affects their power, so noble houses refine and guard their styles. This technique is useless if it only works standing still. His old Dragon King's breath let him use ether while moving, with huge effects. He simplified it for his clan, never thinking it would last after his rebirth. At dinner, Zeke told Langus to eat and train harder to get stronger. As he thought about the trained students, Leica interrupted, saying he was amazing. Langus got nervous, telling him she was the head's daughter. Unbothered, he said he was also the head's son. He answered her questions, telling Langhis to eat instead of zoning out. Excited, she offered him a subordinate role, saying he needed allies as an illegitimate child. She wanted his help to become the next head, promising rewards, but he calmly refused. He rejected her bribe of head's potions. Leica could project ether, impressive for her age. He told Leica he wasn't interested in being head or serving anyone, was the strongest. Leica offered a fight, and everyone went to the training ground. Zeke realized it was serious. Langus said she was Lord Bala's daughter, and had Typhon of Blood, a great house, backing El Dragon. Like other kids, she was a genius. At 7, she mastered all her house forms. This was new to him. He only knew her as the head's daughter. Still, he was confident, and not knowing made him more excited. His friend insisted he had no chance against Lady Leica, but both fighters were ready. Zeke asked why she forced the fight. She wanted to be the next head, defeat him, and make him serve her. When he seemed clueless about his family, Leica asked if he was legitimate. She explained 5 heirs competed for head, all from Elargon's 4 great houses except him. She wanted to defeat him to secure her place. She swung her huge sword easily, but he dodged it without effort. Her strikes got faster. Everyone saw what a head's child could do. Leica attacked. Zeke dodged easily. Langus was surprised. He praised her style, but she insisted he keep fighting. He punched, taking her down, wondering why she couldn't hit him. Said she was quicker than most 1-stars, but still just a 1-star. He explained he tracked her, moves by her breath, muscle, twitches, and eyes. The rest was experience. Leica struck again, but got slammed. He was impressed she used true source power to withstand the blow. When Langus tried to speak, Zeke told him to stay back. Then she reached 2-star level, clear from her aura. At this level, one can project source power outside the body for martial arts, called an aura. She says the hero helped her reach 2 stars. Now he has no chance. She lands a fast, strong hit. The hero can't fully dodge it. The hero faces new Thunder Sword style, exciting him. Leica uses her thunder techniques. The hero enjoys it at first, but then realizes her level is too high. He can't handle so much lightning. Just 1 star makes a huge difference between them. Her moves are so simple, but at 2 stars her Thunder Sword arts explode. She's much faster now. She has a strange lightning trap around her, impossible 1,000 years ago. The hero can't counter, unsure of her power, yet he smiles, full of confidence. This annoys her, so she keeps striking him with lightning. The hero is still standing. Lynxie insists, so Leica offers to stop if he surrenders and pledges loyalty. The hero refuses, so she vows to use all her power to end the fight. She uses her first secret art, Heavenly Thunder. The hero falls helplessly. The match ends, but Zeke stands up, shocking his foe with an electric strike. He explains he took her hits to study, and now he can use them too. During her attacks, he used Dragon King's breathing. It reacted with her lightning, creating lightning in his body that he can now control. He doesn't know details, but her clan has a special body. He learned a lot by mixing their techniques. Thanks to Leica, he also reached 2 stars. The fight isn't over. Zeke feels new strength and will soon understand. Langus is tense, seeing the true power. Even lightning hits don't reach the hero. The fight continues. The hero decides to end it with a new technique or form. While she's distracted, he attacks with his special dragon-slaying art, defeating her instantly. The fight was amazing. Leica can't believe she lost, as she needs to beat her brothers to be the next head. The hero smiles, impressed by her skills. He tells her to learn more, saying they'll fight again. Zeke offers Leica another fight. She sees him as unbeatable. Hours later, Lord Balza practices his dragon combat art. A report interrupts him. His daughter reached 2 stars. Amazing for her age. She might reach 4 or 5 by graduation. The Lord is unfazed. He tells him not to waste time and to speak when she can use her talent herself. The soldier reports she was defeated by his son. Balsa understands, as Zeke's mother also had battle talent, but she died before he was born. Who taught him skills strong enough to beat a 2-star? He learns Lord Zeke reached this level alone, without training. Lord Balza orders the first trial to begin. It's early. Most students aren't even 1-star. He says it's fair for everyone. Those who fail trial have no future and are unworthy of Elragon. He orders Freya to return the trial and watch closely. The next day, dragon combat art training continues. The hero masters Ibuki Dragon's Breath, a 15th gen combat art. It's a body enhancement technique, easy enough for children to learn. Langus asks why he's not training, but the hero already mastered it. He's surprised. It was taught only hours ago. Zeke asks him to turn then, creates a channel to transfer energy. His friend is impressed and thinks that this training might be boring to him because he has already defeated Lady Leica. Dragon Slayer combat technique is an overwhelming power, along with the spatial form bond within the hero from the battle with Leica. He believes that the final form also exists, which can slew the divine dragon itself. Zeke is curious about how these dragon techniques can be handled. Since the hero has mastered all the dragon combat art techniques, he is back on usual physical training. Just then, Langus requests him to provide training because he wants to grow stronger. And the hero agrees because he takes his friend as someone worth teaching. Soon enough, Leica also requests him to train her as well because the way he overwhelmed her in the fight earlier makes her want to get even stronger to surprise her brother and the hero himself. Zeke agrees on training her as well, but asks if she is fine since her wounds should have put her down for like a month. But as she has used a healing potion, so it's nothing to worry about, or else she must be resting on a bed for about a month. Leica again confirms if he is fine by training her and doesn't need his own time to train. The protagonist is ready to train both the young talents. Later he asks Leica if she is fine training by a person who defeated her, but she is ready to do whatever it takes to get stronger and claim the leadership. The hero asks about the reason for her being obsessed with this position, to which she explains that if she doesn't manage to claim the leadership according to their family customs, she will end up marrying someone. In the best cases, she will marry her cousin, and in the worst, it will be a stranger. The hero gets quite upset, and his hatred increases for treating people like a breeding stock. Soon enough, the announcement goes on informing about the arrival of a new instructor who came all this way to guide them despite her busy schedule. so they advise everyone to be grateful towards her. Freya steps in, observing Leica's reflexes, sharp and flawless aura. They introduce her as Freya Wingkick, a member of the Black Dragon Corps. She warm lost them all and recognizes Zeke asking about his non-surprise reactions. The hero confidently mentions how there is nothing to be surprised about and mentions her intriguing skills, which makes Freya understand why the head was so concerned about this boy. The hero is taking interest in her martial arts as there is no sound even from her boots. Later, she advises everyone to pass her test, in which they have to take these crystal orbs and spend 1 month on poisonous Dragon Mountain. It is the home of countless venomous beasts, and even brushing against a single poisonous weed can kill anyone instantly. Zeke used to train there in his past life. If their crystal orbs breaks or goes missing during the task, that student will immediately going to disqualify and initially get expelled from the academy. She advises them to control their breathing with dragon breath technique, and as long as they keep the orb intact, they will be fine. About the monsters, she suggested killing them, or else there won't be any food for them to survive a month. The students have still 5 days left in which they can each choose and learn one of the Dragon family's basic martial arts, and survival will become easy for them once they get a fighting style. But for the ones who couldn't manage to train in these 5 days, she isn't responsible. Children throw an innocent question about if she will help them in danger. But as expected from Elrigan family, only the strong remain. So if someone can't win, he or she will simply die. Panic spreads when the students, while the hero is wondering if this family has changed this much. Just then, Freya distributes the manual for each weapon. While Langus is struggling to choose his weapon, Zeke advises him to pick a spear, the one he used in the earlier test. He even suggests Leica picking an axe, which will cover what she's lacking. After that, Freya advises everyone to train as their life depends on it, or else they will die. She further informed that during their test, the upperclassmen will try to steal their orbs as part of their task. But since the forest is huge, the rate of both of them crossing paths are rare. A wave of fear is spreading among the students. Zeke advises them to form teams if they cannot handle it alone. While he decides to go solo, he casually invites them to eat before training 5 days later. It's finally time for their test, as they have all gathered to enter the forest. Longus nervously speaks that the time arrives, while Leica nods in agreement. He questions himself if he is truly fine to work beside her, and mutters that many belong to noble families while he is only a commoner. His fellows appear from behind and tell him that he is at the same level as them. Celine steps in and claims she also cannot believe that they work with Leica. Leica calmly replies that there is nothing to disbelieve and reminds them that all are chosen for their abilities. Langus tightens his grip on the rod and vows to give his all, and Raymond promises to live up to her expectations. Leica brightens and counts on them, then turns to Zeke and asks if he is sure about going solo. He nods with confidence while the others become nervous. Leica admits that she feels nervous too, but Zeke raises his brow and tells her that everyone there is talented enough. She questions him certainly, and he tells her that she and the others are sharp and their team's test will be easy. While Langus mutters that Zeke always remains confident, the new instructor steps forward and draws their attention. She observes them carefully and praises their group formation, and stating that teamwork will ensure their survival. She asks for their crystal orbs and explains that each must protect their own until the 1-month trial on Poison Mountains, as all orbs are identical. Zeke wonders if losing one means they can replace it. Freya continues and explains that on the mountain they will face upperclassmen who will attempt to steal their orbs. A student asks if any of them have not reached the 1-star level, while another student claims that the task sounds easy. Freya commands them to proceed to begin the exam. They rush toward the mountain. Leica turns to Zeke and tells that she will meet him after the exam, then commands her group to move. Zeke waves calmly and Freya questions if he is not nervous. He smiles faintly and replies that he is fine, then steps forward as she watches with quiet curiosity. As moonlight spreads, an officer beside her questions if the exam is too harsh for the students. Another officer agrees and says the group still lacks combat experiences and wonders how many will truly endure. Freya assures them that the monsters on the mountain are not too strong, and the teamwork will help them survive. The officer nods in agreement, and Freya mutters something about releasing something. He asks for reassurance, but she brushes it off as nothing, then commands another group to head into the jungle. As the team moves ahead and spots Lone, one archer immediately fires an arrow, but Zeke catches it easily and smirks. They look in disbelief and murmuring in confusion, but before they can react, he dashes forward and gestures for the real. Game to begin, Celine thrashes the monsters with her full force as another creature leaps from behind, but Raymond raises his shield and strikes through it. Lannis charges forward with his spear and pierces another monster. Leica praises them, and when they glance at her, their eyes widen at the sight of a pile of dead frog monsters around her. They claim that she truly too many by herself. She chuckles softly and remarks that her 2-star level surely helps. She adds that both of them have gained 1 star since the week, while Lang lowers his head, but others encourage him, telling him that he will earn his star soon. Leica agrees, and states that defeating the monster frog without a star is no small feat, and praising his flawless spear work after training. With Zeke, then commands them to head back before nightfall. As they near their base, Leica halts, upon seeing a senior student waiting ahead. The senior smirks, while Leica questions if he has some to steal their orbs. The group tenses and Raymond lifts his shield. The senior nods and claims that the test itself is to steal orbs, and admits he did not expect to encounter her base first. Leica warns him to leave before they kill him, stating that he cannot face them alone. Before she acts, 3 more seniors appear from behind. The lead one unsheathes his sword and strikes at her, ordering her to surrender. She dodges, and the others rush forward. Raymond shields Sane, fights back with strength, and Langus struggles to resist, while the opponent demands his crystal butt. Langus remembers Zeke's advice when he once asked how to face a powerful enemy. Zeke had told him that it was impossible for him to win against 3 or more upper-class fighters, yet there was still a way. Had questioned the method, and Zeke had smiled, and instructed him to exploit an opening. Langus asked how to find it, and he told him to endure and keep doing it until the opponent exposes it, because the weaker one cannot force an opening by himself. Langus clenched his fists and asked if he could truly endure that long. Zeke explained that endurance self won the battle, and then that defeating a stronger through patience is greater than strength, and the only Leica might be an exception to that rule. Zeke had reminded him to first believe in himself and not overthink. Just wait and strike when the chance appears. Now Langus grits his teeth and holds his ground, and when the opponent loosens his guard for a brief moment, he charges and drives his spear straight through him. Meanwhile, Leica continues battling her own opponent. The senior resists but realizes her strength surpasses his. Even though both are 2 stars, she knows that is from Zeke's advice and ends the fight with 1 decisive strike. She rushes to her team and asks if they are fine. They cheer, and Selene congratulates Langus for reaching 1 star. While he is still in disbelief, Leica smiles and remarks that with everyone holding stars, now they can survive the exam, and wonders aloud what Zeke's might be doing. At a distance, a girl from the last group runs, trembling and questioning what kind of monster he is. Around him lie bodies of the rest of the members, and Zeke stands among them. The scattering upperclassmen are running away screaming to save their own lives. They've encountered a literal monster, one that casually took them out. Meanwhile, our boy is chilling, calling them cowards for running away. Bro basically said, "I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me." The kids are running faster than Usain Bolt just to escape an inferior first year. They were the one who were supposed to hunt him, but the turns have been tabled. One upperclassman slips and falls. It's like a horror scene as he watches Zeke chillingly ordering him to stand up and at least try to fight him. His golden eyes glare into this kid's soul, making him regret his life's every decision. It's so bad that the kid ends up fainting out of fear, and I imagine Batman's glare must feel the same for his enemies. Zeke is a little disappointed how easy it was for him to dismantle the group, even though they were acting so Sigma and tough at the beginning while jumping him. Noticing someone spying on him from a spot, Zeke calls this person to come out already. Seeing as they refuse to come out, he takes it as a sign that he isn't breaking any rules and is free to do anything he wants. Anyway, the person who is spying on him is revealed to be an upper dragon captain. This guy is stunned to see a mere first year wipe the floor with his upperclassmen, and the same kid even managed to call him out for spying on him. Intrigued, the captain intends to report the situation to his leader. He returns to the scarlet-haired beauty who demands a mission report. Her men start off from the very beginning. In 1 week of the test's duration, 32% of the kids have dropped out, but the ones who survived are quickly adapting to their environments, which means the numbers won't stoop lower than that. But the moment she asks about the condition of the upperclassmen, her men hesitate for a response. The same guy who observed everything reveals how the upperclassmen are running for their lives. The instructor is starstruck with his words. It just seems so baffling because there aren't any monsters beyond the level of the upperclassmen to threaten their lives. So the big question is, why are they running? The guy blurts out one name. It's Zeke. He has become the catastrophe, the demise of the upperclassmen, single-handedly hunting them down like insects. No one wants to be around him anymore. He's cutting them relentlessly, and he's on the chase instead. It's a situation so abnormal that they've never seen anything like it before. Even when it comes to Zeke being the son of the patriarch, the kid is crazy. He's not just a prodigy, he's a generational talent, one that can be classified as a literal monster for his age. Even the instructor remembers their brief but weird interaction, realizing that his strategy from the very beginning was to move alone, knowing that he'd unleash hell upon his victims. To be put it simply, Bro never even entertained the idea of being hunted, he was thrilled to do the hunting instead. Her factual glazing of Zeke entices the members of her squad until suddenly, they notice the arrival of something they've been waiting for. Freya tells the laborer to unload it on the spot, while the rest of her squad members start to question what the fudge is up to now. This woman is consistently increasing the difficulty of the exam and intends to release some kind of monster at the 3-star level. Not even the upper-assmen should be able to withstand it. The sadistic mommy assures them that she made certain adjustments. First of all, it is conditioned to only target students of the 2-star level or beyond it. This means the kids without a star or even with 1 star won't be affected. But the big question is, why is she doing this at all? Interestingly, Freya reveals that it's a direct order from Lord Aragon, the head of the family. She's genuinely curious about the outcome of this exam, especially concerning the so-called monster that Zeke has become. She wonders if the kid can handle something of this caliber and instructs her men to release the creature by dawn. Dawn does arrive, Langus and Celine instantly sense the ground trembling. Lady Leica's sharp instincts inform her that something is coming, even nastier than the upperclassmen they faced. At first, Langus assumes that it must be some kind of large monster, but Leica knows full well that whatever it is, it's terrifying. The rumbling of the ground continues, startling the students as they all begin to worry. Leica immediately realizes that the tree behind them is toppling down, so she roars everyone to move out the way. Luckily, she was able to protect Celine, and Raymond managed to guard Langus, making sure none of them got any injuries. Shaken by the sudden collapse of the tree, Leica grips her sword to challenge the threat, while Langi and the others stare at the creature with fearful eyes. The towering monster before them is a terrifying stone golem, one that they'd never thought they would encounter on the mountain. I love how this is the isekai version of getting out of syllabus questions for your exams. Meanwhile, our boy is in a completely different location, sitting on top of monster corpses and unconscious upper-assmen. True Manoa fans will remember that one familiar scene with Arthur from the beginning after the end. Anyway, this guy is bored as hell. He's so strong that no one can match up to him, acting like he's the Gojo of this exam. But then suddenly, he senses an ominous presence in the distance. This isn't any monster. It's something higher than the 2 class levels, which makes him wonder if the instructor is trying to send him a coded message. Still, it's weird to use this creature against kids who are only 2 stars at best. Besides that, Instructor Freya should have informed them about this at the beginning of the exam, but then he realizes that this sadistic woman released it on purpose, making him wonder about their plans. However, this is the perfect chance for him to cure his boredom. Motivated, Bro sumps off from his pile of victims and makes the 3-class monster his new target. Unfortunately, he's going to have to spend a while going there since it's far away from his spot. Back to the golem onslaught, Celine tries to slash the stone monster with her sword, and of course, doesn't seem to get any form of damage on its hard body. She doesn't have a single scratch. But somehow Raymond thinks he's the same character and whacks his shield. Again, no scratch at all. Finally, Lady Leica goes all Zenitsu mode, activates her lightning-style Thunder Flash technique. That ultimate move just now barely chipped the creature. This confirms that only the attacks filled with aura can damage the golem's outer shell, which means anyone below her ranks is practically useless here. Langus begs her for a plan while she rallies them up, explaining her ridiculous strategy to play decoy to distract the monster, allowing them the chance to escape. None of them want to follow this plan, because it means she'll be left behind. But Leica basically calls them weak-ass NPCs who will only get in her way. She managed to do a tiny amount of damage even after landing a powerful aura attack, which means the rest of them can't do anything with their power of friendship Naruto mindset. Her words are right, and though it's true that they can't take it down. Raymond steps up with his shield, vouching to support her just to make sure she lands all of her attacks. Leica thinks this is a reckless move, but Langus and Selene are also ready to support her, just as long as she can deal some form of damage. The power of friendship convinces her, and she orders her friends to cover her while she prepares. Lady Leica charges her attack and blitzes past them with thunderous aura. The golem reacts quickly to smash her into the ground, but Raymond is there to block the weight of the blow. Even then, it stuns his body just to block a single hit. He takes a timeout while Langus and Selene tag in to distract the golem with their repeated attacks. This allows the main assailant Leica to jump the golem from behind with an aerial slash, activating her Thunder Spirit Great Sword arts. She hammers the behemoth with divine thunder, leaving trails of lightning in the sky. Upon the conclusion of the attack, the monster seems nowhere to be found. Langus comes to her rescue as Leica seems staggered and lost. She used all of her energy just to activate that final trump card, but at least they managed to take out the monster, so she's happy that Raymond and the others are okay. But that happens to be their biggest misunderstanding. As the golem suddenly emerges from the smoke, extending its hand towards the unguarded Leica, in the end, the monster snatches her in its grasp. While her friends are useless to help, she knows she made a huge mistake without confirming the kill. While Celine is terrified how the monster is still functioning fine, even after basically a mini-nuke, Langus wants to play a hot shot and charges in with his spear to help her. But Golem casually snatches her away, causing Langus to scream in worry. Suddenly, a gigantic tree is tossed all the way from the sky, whipping its way towards the Golem. The monster is smashed with the weight of the tree, simultaneously freeing Leica in the process. Langus and his party take her to exit the dangerous area. Not knowing what the hell happened, Zeke arrives with his special entry, joining in all the fun. He doesn't even care about his friends and feels ecstatic for his next victim's demise. Before all this happened, he could spot Leica's momentous final attack from far away. He knew that her group was trying to defeat the monster, but found himself severely limited to reach them in time. In his prime Kobe Bryant era, he would have instantly teleported with insane speed. Even though Leica's group is pretty good, they just can't beat a 3-star monster. It's more like a game of survival for them. A countdown until they get wiped out. Knowing that he couldn't run fast enough, our boy decided to experiment something new. Carving his fingers into the heart of a tree, he pulls it straight from the ground, showcasing insane levels of strength for a child. Then this kid sends the tree flying to God knows where, hoping that it probably becomes a ballistic missile and hits the monster. Zeke felt really good about what he did just now, because this tree-throwing technique is actually something much deeper. He talks about the dragon nurturing arts. The Dragon Combat Manual is given to students before taking the exam. It's an ordinary technique booklet, and it's not really a proper style, but a guide to unlock more efficient strength. The good thing is that it proved helpful to Zeke because in his past life, he took advantage of long-range attacks as the first head. Anyway, after tossing that tree, Bro started running again. Back to the present, he greets his friends who are shocked to see him. Langus reminds him about the dangerous golem coming here to kill them all. But instead of running away, Bro feels amused to challenge a powerful monster. Interestingly, the creature doesn't seem to boast any form of life force, despite having a presence. While he's casually holding a conversation, the 3-star behemoth whips a powerful punch in his way. The punch slams Zeke head on, but here's the kicker. This kid catches it with a single palm. Thanks to his genius battle IQ, he can tell right away that the monster won't be affected by normal-based attacks. And though he could easily wipe it out with aura, he doesn't want to finish things so soon. Leica watches him practically toy with the same monster that gave them a run for their money. Anyway, the golem attempts to slam him with both hands, causing Zeke to reflect on the monster's incredible speed, even for its enormous size. He ends up successfully blocking the slam, feeling some level of mild discomfort in the process. Zeke tells his friends to stay out of the fight, as they could get hurt, causing them to flee from the area. Now that he doesn't have to worry about going all out, Zeke shifts his weight and ends up flinging a monster 10 times his size. He still has to take care of the creature's hard shell and wonders if the golem is just as sturdy on the inside. In order to test his theory, he powers up a punch and blazingly hammers it on the golem's body. This move forms one of the Dragon Destroyer combat arts, which he combines with a second style burst to pulverize the golem's interior. The burst aspect of his technique doesn't just focus on breaking the shell, but actually crushing the creature from the inside. And just like that, with a single move, Bros one-shots the creature, having gained some level of fun from the experience. A month passes after the conclusion of the exam, and we arrive at the main estate of the Dragon family. Here Zeke is summoned, much to his annoyance. He reflects on the conclusion of the earlier exam, as nothing significant happened after the golem incident. Zeke's 7-year-old class members ended up dropping down to 70%. But the members who survived became familiar with death and ended up achieving the 1-star level. Shortly after the test conclusion, Zeke was forcefully summoned to meet the patriarch, his father. While walking through the hall, he mutters his annoyance, while Freya reminds his dumbass to give the patriarch proper respect. She rants off about how he behaved in the exam and basically spelled his own doom in the process. But our boy doesn't understand what she means by that. He didn't do anything wrong. Freya roars at him for obliterating the upperclassmen's test, attacking them and hunting them down when it wasn't really required. Because of that, not a single one of the upperclassmen managed to acquire an orb for their personal test. They even have to retake the exam. That's how bad he ended them. Freya is frustrated with his actions and begs him to fix his disrespectful tone when he meets the head. As the two of them finally arrive at the patriarch's door, the reason she keeps lecturing him to tone down and be humble is because if he doesn't do that, he will literally get eviscerated from existence. Lord Elragon is a ruthless man with zero regard for children, and Freya doesn't want Zeke to get slaughtered like that. Even our boy feels intimidated after hearing that. Before entering his chambers, Freya announces her rank and mission intention. He allows her permission to enter, so the two of them go inside. Our nonchalant stares at the man sitting at his desk. His first encounter with the head of the family. Lord Elragon is mildly annoyed, and without even extending his greetings, the dude straight up demands to know why the kids attacked his upperclassmen. Responding casually, Zeke expresses his annoyance, questioning if he broke any rules by attacking. His response baffles the patriarch, while the boy continues to argue that the only condition of the exam is to survive 1 month with the crystal orb intact. No other details or conditions were mentioned, so he followed what he was tasked. Zeke straight up grills his father, saying that he should have mentioned any rules before the exam began. Freya's face tells you everything. She's scared shitless, cause just earlier she told him not to argue. She even tries to talk some sense into him, while the boy's father releases an ominous aura, terrifying her in pace. Just the sheer overwhelm of his pressure is enough to knock her down. With this kind of pressure, Freya thinks that Zeke is going to get murdered. Instead, he doesn't experience anything, and mocks his father again for using petty moves at the slightest agitation. The patriarch finds himself stunned to see him unaffected by the pressure. He pries further by asking the boy how he managed to defeat not only a fleet of upper-assmen, but also a 3-star golem. If that wasn't unbelievable enough, this 7-year-old just aura farmed his way through his overwhelming pressure too. It makes no sense in his eyes how a boy like him could manifest such damning power. Zeke realizes that the focus is being placed on the source of his strength, and instead of explaining properly, he just calls it his personal genius. Arrogance meets arrogance, both father and son eyeing each other down. Lord Elragon admits that the boy's attitude is rash, just like the report stated. But that won't matter, as he still managed to beat a golem. His reward is an item from the Dragon Treasury, or access to the 2nd floor of the Dragon Hall. A choice between the two. What's most surprising to Freya is how this man went from nearly killing his son to now offering him a reward. Let's discuss both options. The Dragon Hall and Dragon Treasury are vaults, each of them filled with 1,000 years worth of collectibles ever since the time of Gillis himself. It includes plenty of books, even those that are banned in the present era. It even contains the greatest weapons, artifacts, and every possible item one needs. The facilities are supposed to be the family's ultimate treasury, but they're monitored so strictly that only a couple of students are lucky enough to enter inside. The 2nd floor of the Dragon Hall is also special, requiring tremendous accomplishments for its access. Freya can't believe her eyes. This kid is acting like a brat, and he still got rewarded by his pops. To piss him off, Zeke taunts his father to give him access to both rewards. Lord Eldragon demands him to leave, but the kid disobeys a direct order and complains that he's got more questions to ask. Freya knows this clown is going to get himself killed through his tongue and grabs him to leave right away. She's like a worried mother protecting her child. But as she's dragging him away, the kid leaves on a final note. Zeke humiliates his father that the more he tries to subdue his emotions, the further he will become from being the strongest. In that moment, Lord Elragon watches a massive manifestation of Zeke's might, making him an equal to him and potential. Freya shuts his ass and takes him away, leaving Lord Elragon to reflect on the kind of presence he just felt. In the next scene, the instructor is ranting again, shouting at the idiot for acting disrespectful against the leader, ignoring all her warnings. Zeke tried his best, but ultimately gave up. Hilariously, this is actually him holding back his words, which makes you wonder what else he could have said. Freya just doesn't get why he treats the teachers with respect, but can't show the same to his own father. Considering the boy's strength and then his rocky personality, she deems him an unordinary child, even beginning to question his real identity. Trolling her, Zeke states that he's just him. Freya internalizes that everyone in their family drank the ancient dragon's blood upon birth. The head of the family carries a might of a superior dragon too, which means by nature alone, they shouldn't be able to defy his wrath. And yet, this same boy managed to not only challenge his father, but also hold his ground. He's something else, and she can't figure out what. Suspicious, she intends to check his birth records, but for now she changes topics and asks him which of the two rewards he'll choose. Putting up an adorable little face, he picks both, much to Freya's annoyance. In the end, Zeke comes to his decision. He is in pursuit of knowledge. Having reincarnated 1,000 years into the future, comes with a gulf in his understanding of the current age. That's why he's curious to know about the advancement of medicine and technology. His biggest fan, Langus, celebrates how he's able to enter the Dragon Hall. Both of them are excited. The thing is, Langus already learned dragon slaying and nurturing spear arts, but this is an even greater opportunity for him to master a new martial art. Lady Leica comes along, sharing that they needed to act quickly because there is also a time limit. The 1st floor is of the basic level, and they're told to borrow one book only at one time, which is why they needed to pick wisely. At the same time, Leica came to learn about Zeke's personal reward of being able to choose between the treasury or the hall. She's surprised that he ended up picking the Dragon Hall instead of choosing a weapon or something. Our boy would have definitely done that if not for the fact that he's way behind on the knowledge of the current era. The books of the second floor are the best part. They're rarer than even the first, and only Zeke has access to this level. Still, Leica thinks nothing in that library can surpass her thunderclap great sword art techniques. While she's glazing herself, Zeke zones off. In the next scene, the supervisor informs them that they only have 5 hours for the haul. It's hard to tell if this duration is considered long, but anyway, Leica comes up with a strategy to pick one book that they want to borrow and use the rest of the time to read the others that can't be borrowed. Fast readers would benefit here a lot, but Langus is interested in honing on a martial arts book to read in 3 hours. It's difficult to choose the right book for each person, especially in a hall as grand as this one. As they're teleported inside, the party members become ecstatic at the glory of the Dragon Hall, exceeding Zeke's expectations far more than he imagined. He sets his sights on obtaining a piece of book that will knock the wind out of him, and so begins the reading experience. Zeke wilds out the second he gets his hands on the books. He's out here blitzing through content related to magic and chaos. It's too much information for him to just give up on. 1,000 years have left an incredible mark. Turns out that in that time span, their world ended up forming a connection with another one. Nearly 900 years into the past, a gigantic crack shook their reality, creating a dimensional wall called a rift. From it came the chaotic otherworld, the Chaos Realm Kunts. This world inhabited monsters birthed from the element of chaos, and in order to resist their wrath, the people of Zeke's world ended up forming primal energies within their bodies. The Ragan family is responsible for aiding humanity against the tides of chaos. This allowed many bonds to form between families on the battlefield. 4 special warriors ended up marrying members of the Ragan house, which ended up forming Typhina, Fafield, Levas, and Bahamut factions. They're now considered the 4 great Lagan families, and it all makes sense now, especially when the anger boar was covered in dark energy while Zeke fought it. Even Leica's thunderous aura exhibits such an energy. All of it came from a different dimension, but the most interesting part that stands out to him is the evolution of magic. With the connection to a dark reality came a new kind of technique. Unfortunately, Bro can't find a book related to the contents of that technique, especially when something this brilliant should be hailed as a part of history. His excitement is so loud that he draws the supervisor's attention, insisting the boy to keep quiet while reading. The strangest part is how there isn't a presence around him and he could still hear the voice. This makes him wonder if this is the same magic, the same new technique, something that can be used via voice. But the problem is that aside from ordinary primal energy, he can't tell what's special about it. Suddenly, all of his books end up floating in a trail of yellow, levitating all on their own. Zeke can't contain his reaction and finds himself amused with the technique. The supervisor tells him to be quiet again, but Zeke just can't contain his reaction at the verge of experiencing a new level of growth. While he was busy wasting his time being excited, the library suddenly ended up closing in on him. Threads of ether restrain him before tossing his ass out the door. Zeke barely holds himself together while sticking his landing, questioning what the heck just happened. Bro wants to learn the same ether technique and demands the guy to use it again. Even Langus can't tell what's up with him, while Leica is confused why he's the only one who got yeeted out. Unlike the rest of them, fortunately, Langus found an interesting martial arts manual that he borrowed called the Cloudwater Spear Technique. Then there's Celine, who learned a movement art alongside Windblossom's sword technique. Raymond got his fair share by practicing the Lagan Guardian sword technique in the library. He even got a book for his shield skills. Basically, they ended up learning the same martial arts that Zeke created in his previous life while trolling. Finally, he asks Leica to hoping to what she got from the experience. She reveals a book containing the heavy wave great sword technique that the 15th Lord improved. This is Zeke's second time hearing about another 15th generation, making him wonder what's so special about it. Anyway, the 15th Lord is also directly responsible for creating Dragon Slayer combat arts. Now, even though our boy made a ton of techniques that became important manuscripts in the hall, a lot of them were improved versions of what he created. This means the 15th Lord is responsible for their advancement, impressing even the likes of Zeke himself. At first, he thought that his school life would be nothing but filled with boredom. But now, he's excited for the journey to come. We get a huge time skip that takes us 5 years into the future. Here, a 12-year-old Leica is looking around to find Zeke and her friends. She learns from Langus that our boy is at the training grounds. Speaking of the training grounds, Zeke is currently squaring off against 3 of his friends, having become much stronger by age. The link to the next episode should be appearing on your screen. Just click on it and you can watch it.